This video is about the making of a hammerhead shark. This shark is the sequel to the great white shark that I made in my HND year. Affectionately known as Cuddles, this is a picture of him. He was the only artwork featured on the poster advertising at the end of the year. The design was inspired by the Jaws poster. Cuddles was a big hit that year. I had a lot of compliments about him. Now I continue my work with recycled materials to create an exhibition experience that aims to immerse viewers. This hammerhead will be displayed in the show alongside my other sea life sculptures. Nothing is new. It is 100% upcycling, and everything is inspired by the sea. I hope you enjoy the video of the making of this hammerhead.
One eternity later.
I'm continuing to work on the Hammerhead Shark. This is the base that I made in the car. The head. This is the mouth. And that is the top front of the shark. The eyes will be around, well, the eyes will be on the end here. And yes, this is how it's looking so far. I have quite a way to go, and I think the thickness is currently larger than my previous one.
Many months later.
So I am working on my shark. Currently it is over half done. Just need a tail mostly. Got a lot of stuffing. The stuffing is mostly bubble wrap, but also some plastic bottles and other bits of plastic. It's not that light, but the matter is Cuddles. But these things are not, I don't think they're heavy enough to hurt someone. So you know. I'm continuing to work on the crochet. And it looks like this. Yeah.
2,000 years later.
Second I thought that was something on my hand, but no, that's just my skin. So, after having cut up maybe thousands of plastic bags to construct the shark, which this is the Hammerhead Shark, the sequel to Cuddles, the Great White, so I'm just continuing cutting up plastic bags because now I've been making the fins, and so far they look like this. They're just rectangles that I fold in half, stitch together with plastic obviously, and then they become like this. Now that's a fin, a side fin, and then so that will be 2 on each side, because, and like this one will be the bigger one, which is like the front fin, and then the other one will be smaller, so because they have further back they have smaller fins. Anyway, that, and also obviously a dorsal fin, because all sharks have a dorsal fin. It's like their trademark. So yeah, dorsal fin, top fin, pectoral for those. Yes. And then that will be my shark complete. I will show more pictures of how it's looking, and
Eventually.
so I'm adding the fin to the shark, just attaching it on here. Just attaching the fins to the shark right now. So I've just attached this one, and that's how it's looking at the moment. Still needs fins at the back. This one may need alteration, and a fin at the bottom. So I've added these fins. I've made up these side fins at the back, and I've made up a bottom fin for the bottom of the. I'm gonna make this one extended a little bit as well. So the shark is basically done now, except for the eyes, which I'm doing now. To do the eyes, I'm doing crocheted rings that I'm like adding more to, and then for the actual eye, I'm going to use buttons, something like this, to go here and here. So I've been making a the surround of the eyes for the shark, and this one as well. So I have a sewing needle that I'm going to add the eyes with. I have this plastic stuff. I'm gonna cut out zigzags, which will be the teeth, and then each zigzag I'm going to melt 2 holes in that will be like buttons to sew them into the mouth in the same manner that I did my previous one. In order to melt the holes, I've taped this together so that I can use the lighter and melt it through the plastic. I've just finished sewing the teeth in, and before I put most of them in, I also melted the end just to prevent it from being too sharp. Some of them I didn't, but because I started sewing them before I started melting them, but these ones are, you know, slightly melted at the end just to prevent them from being too sharp and causing any kind of hazard.